Today is June 4th, 1998. Today is the last day we will be singing in this music room forever. And this is the last period, so this is it. Okay. Now, let me explain a couple of things. There's a couple of interesting coincidences today that I want to talk about. First of all, I had a phone call from a former student, John Saunders. You can turn it anywhere you want. John was graduated some years ago, and he was in when we did Guys and Dolls, and when Mark Bolderman was a student, John Saunders was in Guys and Dolls. Mark played the lead role of Nicely Nicely Johnson, and Mark did. Mark played Nicely Nicely Johnson. John played one of the gangsters. John told me the story. Can we put that away, please? I won't ask again. I'll just take it. And then you can have it back at the end of school. That would be very simple. John said in his message, phone message, that there was a very funny story that happened to him, and he wanted to relate it and retell it to you and to the audience. And the story was that last summer, when John found out, John is a professional actor, and he's performing in Denver. And last summer, when he found out that Mark had passed, he went to the director, the producer, and asked if it would be possible for them to do that evening's show and dedicate it to Mark. And of course they said yes. Well, if any of you have ever been to a Broadway show, you'll see a little slip of paper in the program from time to time that says tonight's performance is dedicated to so-and-so. So they dedicated that evening performance to our, Mark Bolderman. And this was out in Denver. And that's a nice story, and that was a nice thing for him to do, but that's not the whole story. The rest of the story goes that the play that John was in Denver just so happened to be Guys and Dolls, the same play that John played in with Mark here at Manasquan High School. Remember now, Mark was the lead role of Nicely Nicely Johnson, and John was, I think it was Rusty or something, just a character. But last summer, when John found out that Mark died, and they dedicated that performance of Guys and Dolls, it just so happens that John was playing the role of Nicely Nicely Johnson, the role that Mark played when they were friends in high school. Isn't that a neat story? That should kind of give you goosebumps. Then we found out one other coincidence. I'm really anxious for the third, because they say, you always get things in threes. So this is the second coincidence. So there'll be another one today, but I don't know whether I can take another one. We'll see. Since this was the last day here, I decided, well, we've got to pull out a song that would be really important. So I looked back, and I looked at my first concert that I ever conducted at Manasquan High School. And on the concert was Carol of the Bells. And it dawned on me when I looked at the program that we did Carol of the Bells this year. So I said, how ironic. I said, my first concert as a conductor, one of the first pieces of music that I ever practiced anybody within this room was this. And this year, the last Christmas concert, the piece, was the same one. And I said, that's pretty ironic. And then I said, well, let's just take a stab in the dark. So I went back in time to the programs, the old programs, and I found a program from the first concert that I ever sang in here when I was a student in the high school, like you. And the first concert I ever sang was a Christmas concert. And guess what song was on the first?
Carol of the Bells.
Isn't that?
So we should sing it next year.
Isn't that something? So the first concert that I was ever in, the first concert I conducted, and the last concert we did, Christmas concert. Now there's one other thing I want to show you. Come on. We did some rough calculations, counting band and chorus. In this music room, since it was built, there has been approximately 950,400 minutes of music performed here. That's how many class periods. If you put them together, you put all the rehearsals together down here for band and chorus, since this room was built, it would be more than 660 24-hour days. It would be like having band and choruses going 24 hours a day in this room for 2 years. More than 2 years.
And you know what? It was all good music.
No. No. There's a few exceptions. All right, pass this out. Let's do this, the last song. Last song. Do a good job with it. Yeah. All right, here we go. Everybody stand up for the last time now. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, soprano, sing. Here are more than 4,000 people who sang and played